Hi, Steve Cooper, Rank Success, and I'm just going to cut to the chase on this video. If you've just taken the promotion exam, and I know that there are people who are taking it now, the sergeant's exam, and I know that those of you who are sergeants aspiring to inspector will be taking the exam this year, studying through the summer effectively, and to take it in October. So this is a video for you. If you've just taken the exam, you're going to probably be in a position where, as many people are every year, thousands of officers sit there holding their exam ticket for the chance of entering a promotion process when it's announced by your force, a force promotion selection process, and you've just taken the exam. You're probably quite exhausted in terms of the hours and the time that you've spent, but you do know and you have learned a valuable lesson. You've learned that if you focus your effort and your activity, you get the result that you're aiming for. And none of that is any different with the next steps, with the next stages. But what I find is that people who are freshly out of the exam process, if you like, and understandably want to take their foot off the accelerator. And that's okay if you don't want to get promoted for the next 2-3 years. But given at the moment that there's a 5-year expiry limit on the exam result, that comes around a lot quicker, because how do I know that? I'm speaking with people all the time. It's their last chance. They've actually used up 4 years out of their 5 years, and they may have taken or sat a promotion selection process in between, or they may not have done. Doesn't really matter. The point being is this is a video to help inform and support some options for you to consider if you are going for promotion later on down the year. And for you to kind of sit back and have a think. No pressure, no strings, nothing other than just some information from me in this video. If you're undecided as to where to look next, where to step next, and what resources that you want to use or might choose to use to help support you to get through the whole process and get through that promotion board or interview or assessment centre, which may be a variety of different tests. So an interview, psychometric tests beforehand, presentations, briefings, all that. So the first thing I would say is all of the issues, all of the challenges that you will face now that you've got this exam result, and I wish you all the very best, because I'm a little bit ahead of the exam results being announced. But I wish all of you the very best with it. And once you've got that ticket in your hand, it's a ticket to ride the promotion process. And you have to have it. You have to have one. But what I find is that most people want to take their foot off the accelerator, chillax, do something completely different for a while. That's all okay. But what I would say is they often miss the opportunity, and I don't want you to miss the opportunity, to pick up and put down helpful, useful resources so that you can still work towards your promotion aspirations in bite-sized chunks. So what do I mean by that? Well, I mean that on my site, ranksuccess.co.uk, you will find a whole range of options and support, guidance, tips, examples to help you get match fit for the next steps that you take. And in most cases, in many cases, it won't cost you a penny. The choice is always yours, whether you want to invest in yourself any further. And the first thing I would say is that there's a whole range of free stuff, a whole range of free information, guides, blogs, podcasts that I've sat down and spent the last 2-3 years compiling and making available for free to promotion candidates in UK police services and forces. And you know, the thing with doing that is I write it from a perspective of having been there. So I've kind of read the book, got the t-shirt, and although I've been out of policing for a little while, I've actually been had my finger on the pulse with lots of different processes, lots of different frameworks. And if you have a look on my website, just go to the testimonials and have a look at just how many officers have been successful in getting through promotion processes and boards and interviews to Sergeant, Inspector and Chief Inspector. And all of them have arrived, visited ad. They all have in common the fact that they've had a look at my resources that are available on the site. They've read the blogs, they've listened to the podcasts, They may have downloaded a digital promotion toolkit, because I have those available for you, and you can just download those straight away onto your iPad. Here's one I prepared earlier in good old-fashioned Blue Peter style, but this is just my iPad with the interview guide, the interview success guide for promotion on there. And if you just flick through it, it's in iBooks mode at the moment. You'll see a picture of my mug there, and an introduction and a welcome, and just taking you through the steps. So there's some things there around attitude, grit, focus, mindset, all the things that you'll need now as promotion candidates, having just got through the exam, the stuff to start thinking about. There's the pressure, the time pressure, so there's something around time there for you. The fact that it can all fry your brain. Where do you start? Where do you even begin to start once you've got this ticket of exam success? And as we flick through it, there's the mindset, and lots and lots of helpful information around how your memory works, the hare and the tortoise, the difference between good, better and best, because promotion for processes is generally the best that are promoted. Where you're going to put your focus, setting your goals, well, I'm assuming and presuming it's to get to the next rank, and so on and so forth. What does success look like? Have a look at the testimonials, listen to people. Limiting beliefs, we've all got them. You know, I'm not good enough, other people are better. Rubbish thinking, stinking thinking that. Let's move away from that as quickly as possible and get you focused on things that are meaningful and helpful, and get you through to where you want to get to. So that's just a little snapshot at how easy it is to download it onto an iPad and to use it in iBooks, or that's in iBooks mode, moving from left to right. But if you download it and you haven't got iBooks on a device, you can move it up and down as you would do. But that's one resource. There are also other resources which are, so often it's a case of trying to work out from the basic first step forward, what information, so you've got questions about yourself, what information do I have, what evidence, what examples do I have to support the case for me being considered for promotion by my force? And it's a good question, because not all forces have an application process. And I've blogged, and so if you go on my site and have a look at the blog tab, you'll see that I've blogged on this before. I've also done some podcasts on it. But applications are important, certainly if you've got an application as part of your force process, but understanding how to present and to collate and to marshal any evidence you do have is something that will bear you, it will stand you really, really well for the rest of the process. So you'll probably see in my guides that I recommend that whether you have an application process or not, that you still download the application guide, because it helps you to look at how to lay out and set out in basic terms your information, because it needs to tell a story, otherwise it's a bit of a ramble, if you like. So you need to have, you know, a beginning, a middle and an end. So generally, you know, the problem or the issue that you were dealing with, set some context to it. Then the important part where you get marked, which is your actions. So what actions did you take in relation to that issue, that challenge, that problem? And those actions need to be aligned to your competency framework guidance, so the descriptors. So you need to reflect some of those in your evidence. And then of course the bit at the end is the part that you're very proud of, that you've achieved and that you're giving evidence of, you're putting forward is supportive evidence. What was the result? What was the point in doing any of that? What's the outcome? So that's just a little snapshot of what the application guide will help you do. And generally people can buy the application guide or download it on its own, or together with the interview guide, or together with a bespoke digital toolkit for sergeant or inspector and chief inspector level. And in the toolkit are other digital guides with detailed examples. So if you want to say, well, that's all very nice, Steve, but I don't even know, even though you've said that, how to lay out my evidence. There are some specific, focused, detailed examples at the level of the rank you're going for, so that you can get an idea of how to lay out yours. Have a look at what good looks like. Have a look at what good can look like. So what makes a great example, not just a good one, what makes a great example? And what does a good example or a great example look like aligned to the competencies? What's a good outcome, or what's a great outcome? and how does all this fit together. So it's very much around helping you post-exam make the best use of your time, because there's a typical story that happens every year, and here's how it goes. The exam candidates are all saying well done, congratulations, patting each other on the back. It's a well-deserved thing, but just when you need to kind of sit back, chillax, relax, do something different with your time, you've probably spent a lot of time focused upon and necessitating you being away from your family or other things you want to be doing, and suddenly your force announces in the trumpets, da 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 da, there's a new promotion process that's opening up in 3 weeks, and applications have to be in, or you need to register for it. And suddenly it comes into focus, like on one of those horrible horror films where the camera pans in and you come right up on someone and they're absolutely terrified. That's essentially what happens. A bit dramatic, I know, but that's essentially what happens every single year. How do I know? Because I get those calls, I get those emails every single year. So what can you do about it? This video is all about what you can do about it. So I've alluded to some of the resources that you can download, but I just wanted to kind of rewind a little bit and come back to the fact that it's not going to cost you a penny technically, and also in reality it's not going to cost you a penny, because as I've said, I've spent so long making so much information available for free for you to make that informed decision on whether you want to take things further and invest in yourself, and download a digital toolkit. So you can download any of these guides individually or together as a toolkit. So there are 5 free e-guides. All the free ones are green, so you can download those and have a look. Doesn't cost you a penny. Have a look how I lay them out, how I set them out, the content of them, and hopefully they're there to kind of stimulate and provoke and support your thinking, because that's what you need, whether you know it or not. Some help with your thinking as to which direction you're going to go and how much effort you're going to put into this. As I say, there are free YouTube videos. I think I'm up to over 100 free YouTube videos at the moment, and they are just little vignettes, if you like, 5-10 minutes of me talking about the CVF competencies individually, about values, and all the things that you probably want to be in tune with now as a aspiring promotion candidate at whatever level you're going for, so sergeant, inspector and chief inspector, so through the federated ranks. There are discount codes on there that you'll see. So the main one, if you want to listen, there's a 20% saver guide, which is RS Guides 20. So RS Romeo Sierra and Guides, all one word, all block capitals, 20, and I'll get you 20% off any of the packages or online guides. Okay, so why would you want to kind of look at any of that? Well, it's 24/7, 365. It's available the hours that you work in policing. You can get that access to any of those resources at any time. So whether you work in night shifts, late shifts, you name it, you can download it. And often people do early in the morning when they've got a bit of I won't say the Q word, but when they've got a few moments free, they can have a look at that and pick up the guides, put them down, and they're stored on your device whenever you want to access them. They're simple to use. There's no registrations, there's no logins, there's no passwords, there's no subscriptions. They're specialised and bespoke for Sergeant Inspector and Chief Inspector with detailed evidence. They're convenient, they fit around you and your working hours, wherever, whenever. I am always constantly thinking and innovating and trying to update the content to reflect the different processes going on across different forces at different times. But generally I'll bring it back to centre ground to reflect the fact that most forces run promotion selection processes. Most forces allow most of their qualified candidates to enter them, but within those parameters the process, the selection process, can look very different. So there's one of the blogs on my site which you'll see called the postcode lottery of police promotion, because often people only experience it or perceive it from their own force perspective or angle, and understandably, but there are a lot of different processes and tests going on at any one time across all police forces, and it's almost as though candidates are guinea pigs for new tests, new processes, So you'll find a whole range of tests going across police forces, from applications, interviews, presentations, briefings, psychometric tests, and you mix all those up in any order really, but generally as a sift to get through. Applications are there, and or psychometric tests, and you'll see a page if you've an officer who's facing that. And again, if you've just done the exam and your force uses psychometric tests to get through, then most people are not walking around in a state of match fitness, match readiness, if you like, when it comes to psychometric tests. So situational judgment tests, inductive reasoning tests, numerical and spelling tests, those kind of things, they're often used as a sift together with a combination of an application, and that catches out a lot of people, because it takes sometimes a couple of weeks, 2 or 3 weeks of doing it, more preferably over a couple of months, to get yourself up to spec, get your knowledge up to spec, get your confidence and your awareness about those specific tests. And I'm talking here about specifically the situational judgment test has been used again and again and again, and officers have failed again and again and again, and yet all that test is to reflect the skills and the competencies of a aspiring sergeant, let's say in this case, to look at testing professional judgment and decision making, which you can sit very nicely to the NDM and any evidence you have. So it's about your ability to think through and to prioritise and to focus on that. If you want to find out any more information, by all means have a look on my site. I'll explain it a little bit more in there, and there's a couple of links in there for you to do a deeper dive. But this is the kind of thing that now, as a promotion candidate who's qualified, got the ticket in hand or about to have the ticket in hand, that you need to really start thinking about, at least, because there's very much this tried and tested kind of process where just after the exam results are out, the promotion selection boards or the promotion boards are advertised, and it catches out so many people. It's a bit like the Grand National every year, and where all the runners and riders all line up on the ticker tape, and everyone's got their ticket for promotion, they're all qualified, and they're off. Force announces a process and they're off. So just after 3 weeks after the results come out, or 4 weeks, or even a couple of months, they're all off, heading towards these promotion boards, and 75% of the field go down at the first fence. And I don't want that to be you, but I know that 75% of them go down at the first fence, because I get the phone calls from people licking their wounds, trying to work out how that happened. Well, what's this all about? Why are they using these kind of tests? Or, I don't like applications, I don't like interviews, I don't like anything, I don't like any of the ways in which they're assessing us for promotion. And we could go down that rabbit hole if you want. I don't mind. Sometimes I get lured down that rabbit hole, and sometimes people pop up from those rabbit holes where they've been for a couple of years before they come back to reality, if you like, and say, okay, how can I try again differently, more intelligently, so that I can maximize my opportunity, my chances, and increase the odds of success in a promotion selection process. So there are lots of rabbit holes that exist that you can go down if you want to. What I would do is encourage you to come along and have a look at my site, have a look at the free resources I offer. As I say, you're never going to get any pressure from me. You're only going to get information from me about what my products and services involve or entail, and it's your choice, your decision, your judgment as to whether you want to make any use of any of it whatsoever. But this is very much a video focused at you if you've just taken the exam and you're awaiting the result, but more importantly, if you've got that ticket in your hand and you want to make the best use of time between now and your force announcing a promotion selection process. Okay, so the application, the interview, the presentations, example evidence, a question bank, so a detailed bank of practice rehearsal questions that you can use, are all in the guides, as I say, for sergeants, inspectors and chief inspectors. Who are they for? They're for busy cops like you. and you need to kind of make the best use of your available time, working around your shifts, working around your family life and other commitments. Preparing ahead of opportunity is what it's all about. You have an opportunity on a promotion board, and you know it's coming. You're actively working for it right now, or having just done that over the last few months to get your ticket. And there's so many people with a ticket, there's thousands of them. And so if I switch a bit of investigative thinking into that, what have you got? Well, I'm qualified. So what? Well, I'm able to enter a process. Great. Now what? And that little structured thinking process just gets you to the point of now what, which is the most important place, because it's future focused, which is where you need to be, which is where your mindset needs to be, future focused, working back from that promotion board, whether it's in 3 weeks, 3 months, 9 months, hopefully. You know, lots of people do listen to me on my dulcet brummy tones. They do pick up and learn some of these points from the free resources I offer, and they do focus in and start their preparation. And there's method in that madness. I'm not just saying, hey, download my products, have a look at them, buy my guides, because I don't care whether you do or not. They're there to support you and to give you a meaningful range of options to help you get to where you want to get to. There are no guarantees. I can't offer you a guarantee. No one can do that. None of my products can do that. The nearest thing you're ever going to get to a guarantee is to make that commitment to yourself right now that actually you're going to do this prior practice and preparation. Because I'll tell you what happens, and I've done a podcast about this. You go through a transformation process. You will transform from being a freshly qualified, legally aware, in tune operational officer to becoming a great, well prepared promotion candidate. And there's a difference between those two animals, if you like, or those two states. By committing to doing this process, and some people cram it in and really do spend the time burning midnight oil to get through that transformation process to come out the other side, to be able to walk into a promotion board and say, or think, I wouldn't say, suggest you say it, but to walk into a promotion board and think, which of you have got questions for my answers? Now that signifies a state of someone who's very well prepared for a promotion process. They know about the role they're going for, they know about the challenges facing policing, they know about the problems and issues facing communities, they know what the independent reports say about their force, about areas for improvement or areas of concern, and where you can actively commit to telling the board, if you like, what you will do. So when we talk about forward-facing questions, what will you do? How would you deal with this situation? That's just one of two different types of questions. The other one's rear-facing questions. So give us an example of, tell us about a time that you have. Good candidates know about both of those question types. They walk in confident, prepared to face any question, because the depth and breadth of their preparation is such that they have set themselves apart from other candidates. And you'll see that as a theme in the testimonials that you can read on my site of hundreds, thousands of cops that have gone before you to get through promotion boards, and have a look at what they say about their own experiences, about how they prepared. And most of those have in common the fact that they at some stage have touched on my Rank Success site, downloaded a free or premium guide, product, service, had a one-to-one support or a range of one-to-one support sessions. Everybody's different, everybody learns different. If you've someone with a brilliant memory and you can put things together and you can communicate well, both verbally, non-verbally, and you are confident, great. A lot of people aren't confident, and they're certainly not confident when they're going for a promotion selection process, and that's okay. It's okay not to be confident, but what you can do about that is to elevate your confidence by closing out any knowledge gaps that you've got, because promotion's not just about knowledge. It's not about the fact that you've been temporary or acting. It's not about whether you haven't been temporary or acting. There's no difference there, and lots of people think that there is. I talked earlier on about limiting beliefs, self-limiting beliefs, and that's about thinking, you know, you're not good enough or other people are better than you. It takes just as much time to think about moving forward and focusing on things that can help you, because the only thing you can do is to get better yourself, is to make yourself better, to improve incrementally. You can't do anything about any other candidates that might be better than you on paper. But I tell you what about promotion boards and promotion selection processes, whatever you think about them, and lots of people do think lots of things about them, is the people that come walking out, the people that get promoted afterwards, the people that actually get through those processes, who are people who, in my experience, quietly, in the background, understand where they're going, they know they want to achieve their goal of promotion, and they quietly get on with working in the background. So whether that's downloading a free guide from me, or a premium guide from me, or looking through all of my videos on YouTube and picking out the ones that are fit for you as to where you are, listening to my podcasts, traveling to work. I'll read you out one. I've received this overnight, so I'm just on. It does work. You can go and have a look whether it works. But I'm getting these kind of messages all the time, and this will eventually get onto my testimonials. But I just wanted to say thanks for your guides, your application and interview success guide. I've been told I've been successful first time at my assessment centre today. Going in there, looking for questions to my answers, and the structured knowledge from your guides and podcasts is the reason I got through. The Spotify podcasts were invaluable in giving me the base knowledge and the cognitive provocation to think around the issues on my daily 70-mile commute to work. Now, that's something I've received overnight. Someone's through their assessment process first time. That's a theme as well, getting through your process first time. I'm assuming and presuming, I don't often do that, but I'm assuming and presuming that you want to get through the process first time. I don't really know anybody who would want to go through a promotion selection process more times than is necessary. So aim for the sky, and you will aim to come first, is what I always try and encourage people to have as a mindset. Aim to come first on your force promotion process. Where else would you aim? Now, as you'll see from some of the testimonials on my site, many of them actually, an increasing amount, people who adopt this mindset, people who look at this bespoke, focused support that's available, they can pick it up, they can put it down, they can listen to it on their commute. I have other people ring me and say, I've been listening to your podcast walking the dog on the beach this morning, Steve, and I've had some real light bulb or aha moments, or as that individual there says, cognitive provocation. I quite like that. Cognitive provocation. I might even put some of that on my literature, but you can see what they mean. So if you are someone who is qualified, someone who's waiting, or you've just got the ticket, or you're someone who got the ticket last year and you're just getting it together, you're just getting your head together, or you've got the opportunity to start thinking about going for promotion, because as I say, everybody's different stages of their life. But if you're someone who's kind of thinking about making that commitment to go through that transformation process, to get stuck into this, this video is for you. And as I say, you can go and have a look at any of my podcasts on Spotify, Apple, however you choose to listen to your podcasts, the free YouTube videos, the free guides you can download on my site, and there are some really detailed blogs that I've laid out for you on my blog site, including diversity, equality and inclusion in policing, which is a massive area at the moment, to the point where promotion candidates are having a pre-promotion board before their promotion board to be asked questions, or to face questions, or to have the opportunity to get through that stage of just being asked diversity, equality and inclusion questions. Why? Well, line managers, supervisors, the culture of the organisation needs to genuinely accept and to include as part of its culture considerations around diversity, equality and inclusion. So what better way to do that than through a conversation with promotion candidates, the next generation of leaders. So you'll find quite a detailed, I think it's a trilogy blog on that on my site. If you're someone who's listening to this as an aspiring female leader, and you want to progress your career, then there is also I think it's I'm not sure what it's called, a tetralogy, a quad of blogs, if you like. So there's 4 blogs on my site, or there will be a 4th very shortly, on women in police leadership, covering lots and lots of issues. And it's not just for women police leaders, by the way. Clearly there's a lot of information in there for male leaders to be supporting female leaders. So there's a whole range of free information, is what I'm trying to say to you. And if you're someone who's just got through the exam, or you're waiting for your ticket, and you get that good news in the next couple of weeks, don't lose traction, don't lose momentum, because it's a story that's told over and over and over again every year. That's exactly what happens. People say, I'm so pleased, I'm so proud to have got through my exam. It's just a ticket to enable you to enter the process. And one other thing before I kind of close this is your attitude. It's covered in my digital guide, as I alluded to earlier on, but your attitude, a positive focus as you move forward and gain your momentum and traction on this, is really, really important, because you will be surrounded by people who will drag you down potentially, because they don't have the same degree of enthusiasm, motivation, determination, focus, energy for promotion, for getting promoted. And as I've alluded to in some of my blogs, it is not a perfect process. There is no holy grail of promotion selection processes. If there was, the College of Policing would be running it, that's for sure. If not, a force would have discovered it, and it would have been shared, hopefully, as best practice around other forces. It is a process that changes, morphs, and adapts every year, and you will face what you will face. It is what it is. But there are lots and lots of people around who do not agree with the tests, the processes, the mechanisms that are used to promote leaders today, and they may well have an argument. And again, as I say, I'm happy to go down any rabbit holes, or they can stay down their rabbit holes and argue them. What I try and do is to support you with where you are now, in the here and now, with the processes that you will face now, and I do that on the basis that I'm now in a position, having been doing this for the last few years now, to say with some confidence that this is probably the best free information, individually, collectively, supportively, for you to at least think about making a start with. It's taken me quite a while to put all this together as a kind of mosaic of free support, and of course I hope that you will make the decision to download one of my digital toolkits and to take your aspirations that little bit further down the road. But I want you to arrive at the door of that interview, that assessment process, with that mindset, based upon the depth and breadth of your preparation, and hopefully my resources have been part of that, so that you can stand outside that door, as I did one day once, with sweaty palms, saying, you know, I can't wait to get in that room. And that's completely different approach to you know, people that are, you know, quaking and quivering before they go in the room. And that sense of confidence, that degree of confidence, comes with what you've committed to doing to support yourself for that process, and to build your confidence for the process you have ahead. I'm on the end of the phone, on the end of the email, and you can reach me anytime. People do, you text, but first have a look at my site, have a look at through the free information. I also blog on policehour.co.uk, so you'll find a whole another batch of blogs there. Other than that, if you're someone who's just got through your exam, or you're about to get through your exam and get the ticket, congratulations. I mean that sincerely, but you've got a lot more work ahead of you, and the next step is completely free. Just go on to ranksuccess.co.uk, get yourself a cup of coffee, and just browse through what I can offer in terms of support. And I wish you the very best, whatever you decide to do. And until my next video, take care and stay safe.